Hello and welcome. We start with our top story, where Kenya is in a state of mourning after a grim tragedy claimed the lives of 21 children. Last week, a deadly fire at a school dormitory killed 21 children. The children perished after massive flames engulfed a boys' dormitory at the hillside Endarasha Academy in Nyeri County in central Kenya. 19 bodies were found in the charred ruins, while 2 others died in hospital. Dozens are still unaccounted for. Now, authorities say that the death toll could rise further.
We have lost children in a fire that burnt one dormitory that had our children here. Many children managed to jump out and get to safety, but we do not know how many were successful. The information we have is that there are others who are within the community and with well-wishers who received the children. The government is urging anyone who took in any of these children to bring them here, in the hands of the government officers who are here, so that they can get medical help and counseling so that they do not get mental health problems.
Police said the bodies of the children, aged between 9 and 13, were burned beyond recognition. Families of the young students have still been waiting to find out the fate of their loved ones. DNA testing to help identify the boys who lost their lives in the fire was conducted today.
We were able to get 19 bodies. These bodies are burned greatly, to a great extent, to such an extent that it will be very impossible for their parents to be able to identify them.
The DCI and the government pathologist, they are still collecting evidence and classifying it in such a coordinated manner. They need to get the coordinates of who was sleeping where, how, and how. It's a bit intricate. So we expect, if at all there are fatalities, to recover more bodies. It's a DNA process that will take quite a number of time, a long time, I beg your pardon. So please, a number of days. So don't really rush to make conclusions about the numbers, because at this point in time, we cannot really say how is it.
Kenyan President William Ruto declared a mourning period to honor the victims of what he called an unfathomable tragedy. He has also ordered a full investigation into the disaster. But while a probe into this deadly disaster was underway, 2 other schools witnessed similar incidents. On Saturday night, another fire broke out at the Isiolo Girls High School in central Kenya. Videos on social media showed several buildings up in flames, and 3 students were injured. On Sunday, a fire destroyed a dormitory at Nyeri Boys High School in central county of Meru as the students were having supper, and no casualties were reported. Though the Kenyan government has instructed police to investigate whether the Endarasha fire was caused by negligence or recklessness, reports say that the dormitory was overcrowded in violation of safety standards. It was housing 156 boys, all below the age of 14, on the night of the fire. Since most of the buildings are built with wooden planks, the fire spread quickly. The latest incidents, including Thursday's inferno, have added to Kenya's numerous fires in boarding schools in recent years. It has prompted national concern about safety standards and procedures. The government has urged school administrators to enforce the boarding guidelines that require dormitories to be spacious with 3 doors and no grills on windows for easy escape in case of fires.
We have school safety standards that were passed in 2020 that schools are supposed to adhere to. The investigation that is being undertaken will inform us whether there was compliance with those rules and regulations.
Many of these guidelines, however, have remained on sheets of paper, with many schools far from implementing them. Many parents in Kenya choose to send their children to boarding schools because they believe it gives them more time to study without long commutes. A recent Education Ministry report says school fires have been common in Kenya boarding schools, often due to arson fueled by overcrowding. In several cases, authorities have usually found students to be the culprits. Some of the fires were started by students during protests over workload or living conditions. Researchers have found student arsonists to be triggered by frustration over poor conditions in schools. Pressure around exams, fatigue from academic work and extracurricular activities, and lengthy school terms have also been listed as common motivations. In 2016, authorities recorded 130 cases of school burnings related to unrest. At least 63 arson cases were reported in 2018. In 2021, 63 girls were hospitalized by a fire at a school in Nairobi. In 2017, 10 high school students died in a school fire started by a student in Nairobi. A Kenyan government report also identified drug abuse as one of the triggers for unrest in schools. The report says that inadequate counseling services in schools also exacerbated the issues. But despite repeated incidents, the Kenyan school curriculum did not include fire hazards and safety training until 2022. Public schools also lack fire safety assessments and drills. Now, there is anger simmering among Kenyans against President William Ruto's administration. He has already been facing calls to step down over economic woes. Now, the latest Endarasha disaster is further fueling the discontent among people. 21 young, innocent lives have been lost to apathy. From school authorities to the government, has Kenya failed its youth?